Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a Revolting review. I'm Random Ross and today I review Dominion, Prequel to The Exorcist. So this is written by William Wisher Jr. and Caleb Carr, based on the characters by William Peter Blatty, and is directed this time by Paul Skarsgard or something. And it stars Stellan Skarsgard, Gabriel Mann, Clara Bella, and Billy Crawford. So this is an alternate prequel to The Exorcist. So, you know, it's in no way a follow-on to Exorcist the Beginning. It is, as I've said, an alternate, prequel on the Exorcist film. And in this one, it's the fifth installment of the Exorcist franchise, but this time we see it differently. We see Lankaster Merrin, played by Stellan Skarsgard, living with the burden of being forced to choose who dies at the hands of the Nazis during World War One. Then we do not World War One, World War Two, and then we jump a couple of years later. This time 1947, not 1949, where he's lost his faith and is an archaeologist, and he, goes to this dig site where it's a buried church, and pretty much unlocks something evil. And there's this one character who is what's his name? Chencha, who sustains injuries but then miraculously recovers, and then we find he is possessed by a demon, I'm assuming Pazuzu, and basically goes to this church to cause havoc and what have you. And of course Merrin becomes the exorcist, restores his faith, and exorcises this evil. So that's the plot there. So what did I like about this one? Well, when this was said to be an alternate prequel, I was expecting a completely different story, and we got that. It's just in the first act I felt like, hang on, this is just a retread of Exorcist the Beginning, which I'd already seen. I thought, is this going to be the same thing? And I thought, is this Doctor Woman going to be possessed by the demon? And but it wasn't. The characters were renamed and rebrand, still had similar occupations, and we had different characters in that. So this, I feel, is sort of a remake of Exorcist the Beginning. Of course, the final act plays out very differently to that one, the previous film. So I liked that. I like that we got a different, change in the story halfway into the film, and wasn't like a full, like I say, what I first thought was going to be a full-on retread of the Exorcist the Beginning. Now, it's to my knowing that this one, did a little bit better than Exorcist the Beginning, as that flopped in the box office, and they decided to release this one anyway, and was said to be better. And apparently Roger Ebert gave it a better review. Is it better than Exorcist the Beginning? Yeah, I would probably say it is slightly better, although I prefer the possessed, being to be pale and have cuts and that all over their faces. This one didn't. The possessed guy was hairless, and the demon sounded female. But I thought, okay, yeah, I guess if it's not Pazuzu, it doesn't necessarily have to be him. It can be another demon, I guess. But the plot was, the format was the same, with the whole buried church and everything. and I thought, like I say, it was slightly better. But of course, there was those CGI animals again, like CGI hyena. There was only one hyena this time. Then a CGI cow collapsing. I thought, okay, those are very dated effects. I'm thinking, I can't believe 2005 was that long ago, nearly 20 years ago now, and I think the effects now are dated. Yeah. But that's just the time it was made in. I guess back in the day it was probably considered a good visual effect, but today it's just aged like milk. But other than that, I think the story was okay. We didn't have like a blood massacre like we did in the Exorcist the beginning, and the two tribes didn't go to war like we saw in Exorcist the beginning. Like I say, it played out somewhat differently, and you know, Lankaster Merrin, played by Stellan Skarsgard, he wasn't necessarily called out on behalf of an anonymous collector. He actually went to this dig site and what have you. So they, like I say, they did some changes. It's like a remake that happened literally 1 year after the failed product. But don't I think Dominion's a better title as well as Yeah, I would probably say Dominion is a better one, and to let us know that it is a prequel to the Exorcist, it titles that at the end. So basically there's two alternate prequels to The Exorcist, and then there's two alternate sequels to The Exorcist. Soon to be a third alternate sequel. Then we have the series, which I've never bothered watching. But yeah, The Exorcist has various timelines that all link back to the 1973 original. So yeah, like I say, poor CGI on the animals, but like I say, it did have changes in that. It changed things up and that in the finale and stuff, and the showdown, and how, but pretty much similar to how, you know, Merrin got his faith restored. So what am I going to rate Dominion prequel to The Exorcist? I will probably give this one, I mean, the final act did have me locked on. I mean, during the first act, when I thought this was like, oh, this is just a retread and that, I was a bit bored and actually looked on my phone. But then when the final act came about, I was, you know, hooked, and I was watching. So I'll give Dominion prequel to The Exorcist, I'll give it 3.5 stabs out of 5. 3.5 stabs out of 5 for Dominion prequel to The Exorcist. So have you seen this one? Let me know down in the comments below if you have. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. I've been Random Ross, and this has been a Revolting review. So, until next time.